I recently did a workshop doing grafting techniques, stockinette stitch, garter stitch, and Sharon Levering's method of grafting a cast-on edge to live stitches. Today's video tutorial is grafting garter stitch, and the requisite parts of this are equal stitches on the needles on the front and the back needle. The front piece is the right side, the back piece is the wrong side. When you turn this over, that will be the right side, so that will be the final right-sided product. And so we're going to make knit stitches on both the front piece and the back piece, such that on the back piece those knitted stitches will become purl stitches so that the garter stitch is continuous. In order to work this, I've measured off 4 times the length of the live stitches. That or longer is required, and I'm working this in a contrast color in order to best show the grafting at its completion. The yarn today is Chief Left Hand Knits CM Russell with some gold tones and some red tones. I like to graft with the yarn coming out of the back such that I start on the front. And just like any Kitchener stitch, in order to make knit stitches, you have to anchor purlwise the front stitch, the back stitch, with the yarn going underneath the needles. And that is the setup, the anchoring. And then the repeat section is to insert the needle knitwise on the front needle and remove that stitch, and anchor the second stitch purlwise. And on the back needle, it's the same maneuver because we're making knit stitches. So we're going to knit off that stitch and purl anchor the next stitch. And that is the repeat. So we're going to do the same thing. And this is my mantra. Knit off front, purl on front. Knit off back, purl on back. If you put your work down, you're going to have to figure out where to start, and the yarn is coming out of the front, and the stitch has been anchored purlwise in the front, and so you would come to the back and knit off the back first stitch and purl on the second stitch with yarn underneath. And coming to the front, knit off front, purl on front. And off camera I have adjusted tension. And if you need to adjust tension as you go, if you have if you're using your project yarn or a tie-on yarn as I've used, you'll have to tension the yarn appropriately like this with the working yarn left end. But you want to try to mimic the space between your garter bumps and your knitted fabric with this space right here. I'm nearing the end of the work, and before I show you the exact end, I'll show you how to tighten up stitches. I like these stitches. They match the tension, and these are too loose. So I like the tension of those now. And my working yarn is in the back, so I'm going to knit off the front, purl on the back, knit off the back, purl on the back, last stitch. Not quite done yet. Once you're down to 2 stitches, these have been anchored, and so you just have to knit off the back stitch, or rather knit off the front stitch and then knit off the back stitch. And adjust tension. And I like the tension. This is the front side. You are working it like this, and then the back piece where you've made knit stitches on the back becomes purl stitches. I plan on using this in a easy all knit cowl. I'm going to start out with 52 or 60 stitches and knit it until the required length for a cowl, and then put a Mobius twist of 180 degrees, and then do this for a seamless join and a very easy project. Happy knitting!